half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back to Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to dude, and welcome into More Important Issues. I thought that was part of the act, but apparently Caleb is out. Guys, welcome in. We got a great show for you guys. We got a special guest coming on. Director of Baseball Operations, Chad Zurcher, will be on with us. Super great guy. I can't wait to have him on, talk some Tennessee baseball. Also, he had a really cool weekend this weekend, getting his jersey retired at the University of Memphis. We won't hold that against him. It was before Penny Hardaway, so it is what it is. He traded in for some orange, so we got to give him credit. We got some basketball talk a little bit. Guys in the transfer portal. KC heading to the NBA. It hurts a little bit. We're all, Joe was talking about it before the show. Just he was hanging on to that little bit of hope that he was going to come back, and he announced on ESPN that he was going to go through the draft process and hire an agent, which that means he gone. Yeah, we'll talk about all that and talk about some baseball a little bit. Tennessee's still number one, so if you're a fan of a school that's not number one, why are you even talking to me? You're irrelevant. Yeah. College baseball is Tennessee and everybody else. Remember that. There he is. Dude, I thought that was part of the show. I thought you were just coming in like black screen and then make an interesting appearance.
I wish. I don't know what's going on tonight. It's not just my Wi-Fi. It's my phone. It's everything. So we're here to battle through this tough time. Adversity happens. We're here to battle it. I'm guessing it's my computer, which is probably on its last leg that my phone was connected to. So busted out a new charger. But we're going to get through it. We're good. We're here.
Dude, I get to watch a baseball game with you again.
I'm so excited. Shirts are coming off.
Get naked.
I'm thinking I might have to go mustache, for Mike Honcho for Saturday. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm going to bring a razor, and after the first home run, you can shave my face.
That would be hilarious.
It's got to be a Beck bomb though. It can't nothing else.
Yeah, it's got to be one over the porch. Like it's got to be a freaking Honcho ball. I don't even know how to explain it. Just something that's just way into orbit. A ball that you're like, oh, that ball has still not landed yet. One of those kind.
Exactly. Yeah, sorry for the technical difficulties. We're here. We got a great show though. I couldn't hear you all either. I thought it was just lagging. But we're talking some basketball, football, and of course baseball. We've got a big guest coming on tonight. Can't wait. I'm sorry for all the big Tennessee fans that hate Memphis, but there will be a little Memphis talk tonight. Chad Zurcher got the jersey retired, man.
Yeah, I was telling him that he traded in for the orange, so we won't hold the Memphis across his chest against him.
Exactly. I mean, you can even see ESPN behind me is jacking up. Can't watch this Arkansas-Florida game. Nothing's going my way tonight. It is.
Yeah, Memphis had to go to Knoxville to get somebody to retire their jersey. So
exactly. Yeah, I don't know where I'm picking up now. I just popped in. So you tell me. I'm following your lead.
I just went over everything. We said Kenny Chandler's head to the NBA. We got some guys in the transfer portal. Probably talk about spring practice a little bit as well, and some baseball talk with Chad, and we'll probably talk about Missouri a little bit too, just because they're terrible.
I'm not happy with Weigels. I'm sorry. I am. I'm not happy with the timing of Weigels. They got my hopes up a little bit. We've been talking about maybe a big NIL deal could keep Kennedy around. Weigels feels like someone who could deliver that. I'm excited for Evan Russell. The video is great. The throwing the sticker on was fantastic, but a little upset that my hopes were not up necessarily, but it kind of floated in the back of my mind with NIL being in existence. And then that tweet got dropped, and I was like, what if?
Yeah. I guess the numbers weren't like he wasn't hearing the numbers that was going to equal what his NBA contract was going to be.
Which is fine. I get it. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, we've all been there.
But I'm a selfish human being. I wanted to cheer for him at Tennessee for one more year.
Right. Yeah, I definitely would rather go to class and get paid some than get paid a lot of money and not have to go to class, right?
Agreed. Agreed.
I mean, does education not mean anything to anybody anymore?
Well, and that's going to be my stupidity. I can't wait. No, apparently it doesn't.
Okay.
Apparently it doesn't.
Easy, Will Wade.
Hey, whoa. We don't speak about the dead. Tennessee's hosting an LSU transfer this weekend. Is that this weekend? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's big.
They don't have a single scholarship player left on their roster.
That's hilarious. That was going to be my most important.
For Sunday?
For Sunday, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or it could be
like
or stupidity. It could be all the above. Yeah.
You can look at that from a lot of different angles and laugh, giggle, be excited.
Yeah.
No, the Kennedy thing makes sense. It's just we all knew it was coming, but it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, it's just like when you look at his kind of postseason play. I mean,
this roster's still very, very solid.
Go ahead. I think he's cutting out again. It's all good. We're here for it. But yeah, like you look at his postseason play. I mean, he was the best player on the court for the entire SEC tournament. The NCAA tournament, as far as Tennessee went, he was the best player on the court. And, it's just hard. Like, I think he's, no offense to Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer. Keon Johnson's tearing it up right now for the Blazers. But I just think he's far beyond NBA ready than both of those two.
I agree. I'm just filling in. I'll just be Caleb. I'll put like my little. I can get a little overlay of him up here, and I'll just talk as him. But yeah, I mean, obviously we're a little biased, but we'd love him to stay. But if you look at how he played, you're right, especially postseason. There's no doubt that he's likely a top 20 pick in the draft. Like, I mean, and obviously with NIL, it's all a little different now, but it doesn't really surprise me. We saw it coming, but it's a shame. But I'm sure you're right. He'll probably go on to do hopefully fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where he gets drafted at. I think I've seen a lot of mock drafts around 20 range, 15, 20. I've even seen one down to 26. So when you're thinking about that, I'm like, maybe he could stay. But I think this draft class is pretty strong. And I know his size kind of hampers him a little bit, but the dude's a baller. I mean, he's NBA ready, in my opinion. I mean, just looking at how some of them play defense in the NBA currently, I mean, he's at least scoring 10 points a game. So if nothing else, he's a pretty great role player, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a hot take, but I just don't think he has like as much to prove as like that would hold him back. Like, I feel like he obviously another season, I'm sure he would pop off even more and, show it even more. But I don't think in terms of what he might miss out on, I think when you look at, whether it's worth it or not or the value of that, I think it's probably the right decision.
Yeah. Making money. I can't blame him.
Nope.
Definitely would love to see him back. And, it's really cool to see, a guy from Tennessee, from the Memphis area, that highly rated come to Tennessee. Not many do that. I know Jarnell Stokes is one that they got out of Memphis. I'm sure there's been others, but that's the one that comes to mind. So it is really cool to see that. And, it seemed like he cherished his time here, but the end goal is the NBA.
Yeah.
So hate it, but we got a really good player coming in, BJ Edwards. I don't know if he really takes over that same production that Kenny Chandler did. I think Zakai Ziegler will probably be your starting point guard next season, but I think BJ Edwards and getting to watch him play some, I think he's going to be a really good player at Tennessee. And he's not going to be a one and done. He's a guy that's probably going to, be here 3 or 4 years and, have a solid career at Tennessee. So excited about that. Let's get to the transfer portal a little bit. I don't know if Caleb's coming back in here, but I think you will have to let him in if he does.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Ajay Tamba, kid from Catholic, reclassified, which I thought was weird anyway. I don't know his age, but like he wasn't like a Brandon Huntley Hatfield where he's like, oh, he's a top 20 pick in the NBA, and
Yeah.
he reclassifies, gets a year of college under his belt, and then is ready for, I guess, this true freshman season. But Tamba was one that like reclassified, and I don't really understand why. I think he could have maybe used. I mean, he was a project.
Yeah, I didn't see I think there's more to be told to the story. I don't think he was expecting to, maybe he didn't think he was going to fit into the scheme or whatever set for next season, but I don't know. It seemed a little strange.
Yeah, and maybe he saw the writing on the wall with Hatfield and Adu, and maybe guys they got in the pipeline maybe coming in, but it just it didn't seem like anything. Like he was one always dancing in the middle, so it was kind of weird how it all kind of like there's no way he expected to play or have much of an impact this season.
Right. I think
So
that's why.
I don't really get the transfer. I really don't.
Yeah, that's my biggest reason for thinking it's something that we're not too clear of, because our conversation, whether you had with Barnes or just the teammates in general. But you're right. I mean, he was obviously like the energy. Everyone just loved to have fun with him and stuff, and there really was no, at any point, really any idea for that to be him to be a key role on this roster as of right now. But I mean, I stick it out. I don't know. I'm sure he'll go somewhere good, and he'll be a great fit. He's a great player, but just young.
Yeah, young and needs some work, kind of raw. But does have a lot of athleticism at 7 foot. Is super lengthy and has that bounce. Is a true shot blocker. But yeah, just kind of weird timing to me. I just didn't. I mean, if you're going somewhere to play, I feel like you could have carved out. Like I don't know if you're ready to play anywhere, especially D1. I mean, if that's where your intentions are, I feel like you reclassify to kind of get ready, and then next year, like you come in competing, like you already have a step ahead of the freshmen because you've went through that whole off season and regular season. So yeah, just weird timing to me.
Right.
Then Rick Barnes said he probably expects Quentin DeBunji to hit the portal as well, and mention that ECU could be an option with Mike Schwartz taking the head job there. And I mean, he got to play this year. He averaged 1.7 points per game. Did only play in 7 games, and all 7 of those games were blowouts. But again, I don't. Looking at this team and looking how good they were in March, I just don't. Unless it's strictly just like, hey, they had a meeting with a coach and they're like, I don't know how much you're actually going to play here. We're going to recruit over you, and that's just part of it. When you have a program like this that is getting one and dones, getting 5 stars, at least being in with 5 stars each and every season, it's just hard to really carve out a role unless you're just a certified dude like Zakai Ziegler.
Yeah.
So Yeah, it looks like he might be headed to ECU, or at least that's one of the options for him. He's got to make that decision. Hasn't entered yet, but we'll probably see in the coming days. But again, just weird timing to me.
Yeah.
Like you said, stick it out, give it a chance. I mean, if you don't play in 2 years, yeah, then maybe you go somewhere else. But I just don't get the whole like I should be playing as a true freshman.
Yeah, I think you're right. It makes you wonder, like, if they had some sit down talks and talked about their ideal, and just maybe didn't meet as to where they thought that they might fit in come next year or the year after, and wasn't on the same page with the coaching staff as to how that was going to go. And maybe that's all it is. But I agree that it's certainly on the stranger side in terms of timing.
Yep. Caleb just texted me and said he's driving to Starbucks, so I guess he's going to use their Wi-Fi. That's awesome. That's dedication.
Starbucks Wi-Fi. That is dedication.
Yeah. Yeah, but the last time I was in a Starbucks, their Wi-Fi was out. So
that would be
at that point you just give up. You say it's not meant to be.
Yeah. He was not meant to be on here tonight. That's all right.
Yep. Big weekend coming up. You got the baseball team's playing Missouri. You got the spring game, kind of orange and white game, kind of. It's gonna be. They're gonna have a big thing, and is it Vol Village? Is that where they're having it?
I have no idea actually. Sorry, Caleb, I believe is trying to get in here.
Okay.
He does appear to be at his local Starbucks. I'm scared to try this.
Oh my gosh, boys. I don't know what's going on. I had to take this show on the road though. Let me know if the wind too much. I'll maybe try to hop in the car.
Are you outside of Starbucks?
Dude, the place is packed. I can't go in there and just run a show.
Oh my goodness.
Listen. Sometimes you got to go on the road and do your thing too. You can't always be in the comfort of your own home, own arena, own stadium, however you want to look at it. So
I get it, man.
We're making things happen. All right.
Who is your internet provider?
Spectrum. I'm gonna put them on, and T-Mobile. I'm putting them on the chopping block. Done. Done. Chain.
There you go. Yeah.
Spectrum is on the hot seat.
They're past the hot seat. I already told my girlfriend, done with Spectrum. We're done. Out.
You got fiber?
Not yet where we live.
Okay.
Working on that. Shout out Briar Ridge.
Oh God, Briar Ridge is terrible. Yeah, we're talking about the transfer portal and how it's just kind of weird timing with the two, Quentin Nabunji and Hajj Tamba. Do you kind of have anything to add to either one of those?
No, I mean, I guess I kind of not expected. It's the right word, but those guys are probably going to be successful at mid-major schools. Probably the place for them. Looking at the roster.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you're making room for others. Who knows? Yeah, it looks like Tennessee is going to be in the transfer portal pretty heavily. They got LSU transfer Brandon Murray. We'll visit this weekend. He averaged 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1.9 assists per game against. Or I think he averaged. He had 15 against Tennessee and 13 against Tennessee in the 2 games. So. Really good player in his freshman season at LSU, and somebody that they seem to really be high on to make an impact on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, benefit from the transfer portal too. It's there for your use. There's also some holes you can still fill. Not that you're probably ever going to fill Kennedy's from last year, but there's still some other places that you can fill and be successful.
Yeah. Come on in. The Will Wade. I don't want to call them rejects, but
oh no, certainly not.
Maybe
Will Wade's. Yeah, I don't know if that's a better word, but yeah.
I'll take them all.
Yeah.
We'll be the Warbucks. We'll just bring them all in.
I like it.
Spring practice a little. I was getting into this weekend and how big of a weekend it's going to be. You got softball, you got Tennessee baseball, you got the orange and white game, the kind of big fan celebration there. I don't know what else is on campus.
Joe's
fraternity's having beer Olympics, I'm sure.
Oh,
so.
I'm in. I'll be there. Yeah, sign me up. Y'all can actually just bring that party on down to the tailgate. We'll figure it out there. That's another thing, Landon, you forgot to mention, the tailgate Saturday. I don't know if it'll be it probably won't be a big one, but you don't have to have a big tailgate to tailgate big, if you know what I'm saying. So
that's a good point. I like that.
So come hang out.
Print those shirts.
Yeah, yes. Actually, I want a sticker on my tailgate that says
okay.
that. Yeah. Gone Gaten. But no, come hang out. We will have some beer, and I don't know, maybe we'll we don't have to order a pizza or something, so maybe some food there for you guys too. Shay, shout out to the Spotlight guy. Thank you. This is just hilarious, but I feel like it's worth it. But no, it's a big weekend. I think it's cool to see kind of the strides the athletic department is to bring the fan base together. I know it would have been cool to see the spring game go on the road and stuff, but to do it, the weekend already existed. This all was going to be happening anyway. So to kind of make it one big thing, to invite everybody in for baseball, softball, soccer will be on campus Saturday too for their spring game. I can't remember who they're playing off the top of my head. I've got my soccer gear on under my Masters jacket. No big deal. Also not warm enough for this weather, but just a big weekend that I think Danny White's doing a good job of kind of bringing the all ball spirit in a way, I guess. So I think it's gonna be a great weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun, a lot of orange and white.
Yeah, absolutely. How tall do you think Danny White is, just off the top of your head? I know the answer.
I don't even know what to compare him to. I mean, he's pretty tall. I'd say he looks kind of like a basketball guy. I'd say like 6'2", 6'3".
Okay, yeah, 6'3". He's 6'3". I saw him at the game the other night, and I was like, man, he's a lot taller than
Did you ask him?
No, I just saw him, and then I looked up his basketball profile.
Where did he play basketball at? I didn't know he did.
So he played at Towson, and then he went to he transferred to Notre Dame.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Don't like that.
He's doing the right things though, as an AD.
Fair point.
They're spirit of giving. That's what Danny White's all about. So if he learned that at Notre Dame, we appreciate it.
Love to see it. I don't have any notes, and I can't see anything on my phone, so you're just going to have to – I'll follow you.
Okay.
You lead me. I'll take –
It's a big recruiting weekend as well. You got Nico Iau-Maliava, and his 7-on-7 team will be playing in Farragut or at Farragut this weekend. And I don't know what – something with Pylon. But yeah, he'll be there. I think he's already in here. I think they played tonight or tomorrow night, and they play Saturday. He'll be in town to meet with some recruits. You got 5-star wide receiver Carnell Tate will be here. 4-star wide receiver Kyler Casper. 4-star wide receiver Devin Hyatt. I think you have right now up to 8 4-stars and a couple 5-stars in there as well. Will be on campus. Nate Spillman, a big 2024 4-star linebacker, will be the number one. I think he's the number one player in Tennessee for that 2024 class. He's the brother of Edwin Spillman, who is currently committed to, Nate Spillman, not Edwin Spillman, Nate Spillman. He's a current commit for Tennessee right now at a Lipscomb Academy. So, getting some really good guys in here. You got some in-state recruits, mixed in with some commits. Jack Luttrell will be back in town. So, it's going to be a good weekend for that as well. And, I'm sure Nico is going to, be peer recruiting as well as, competing 7-on-7. Ball fans have a chance to really go see him in person and kind of, see him throw a little bit with those pajama pants. And I'm sure the big sunglasses that he wears. He's a Cali kid, so, he's got all the swag in the world. So, we're just really –
sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm in here.
You're in here.
I just had to –
You're in Starbucks.
No, I still haven't braved to make it in Starbucks. We do have we are going to bring on a guest. Are you ready? We can come back to recruiting. And let me see if I can get my camera back up. We do have a special guest on here. Excited to welcome him on. We got the director of baseball operations at Tennessee and Memphis Hall of Famer, Chad. How are you doing tonight, man? Thank you for coming on.
Doing good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. Yeah, that was good to tag on for a little recruiting there.
Absolutely.
Big part of what everybody does.
So y'all got a big recruiting weekend too, right?
A little bit. We got a few, but I mean, most of ours happens in the fall.
Gotcha.
Most of the kids are playing now. But it's strange. It's the first time in my 7 years that we've been asked that are told that basketball and football are bringing recruits to our game instead of the other way around.
Absolutely.
So,
heck yeah.
Yeah, so it's fun.
Danny White was in there getting hot dogs in the MVP room the other night. So
was he?
Yeah, I think he was scoping out where that $58 million is going to go.
Yeah, see where he needs to add to. Yeah, he's got him a little spot up there under the press box.
Gotcha.
Did he pay his donation to get in that MVP room?
I don't know. I might have to check on that. He used the code to get in the side door, and I think he came to practice today. So it's cool. I mean, people want to be involved with it, which is something different. You've seen it build over the 5 years Tony's been here, and to see it kind of culminate and then realize this is going to be what it is going forward. There's not going to be a drop off.
I do kind of want to ask you about that. You were here with the previous staff, and we might ask you when you're on the last time, but I want to ask again for people that didn't get to hear that.
No, I don't think I got to be on video last time. I feel like it was more just a phone call.
Oh man, we've gone up in the world. Yeah. What's been kind of the biggest difference from when Tony Vitello took over? Nothing against the Serrano staff or anything like that, but like, what has been that difference to lead up to this team being so dominant?
I think a lot of it's just the culture. I mean, they came in with I love Dave Serrano, and he gave me a chance to get this job started, and I think he's a great baseball coach. Showing this year he's having a good year at CSUN. But I think sometimes it's fit and timing and how things operate. And I mean, he's obviously a great baseball coach. He's been to Omaha a few different times and been on different good staffs. So it's just a timing thing. I mean, you've seen other coaches not work out at play. I feel like you see it more in basketball where you're like, oh, this guy's going to crush it when he, leaves VCU and gets a big job. And then all of a sudden you're like, man, what happened? Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it's like Shaka Smart when he went to Texas. Everybody's like, oh, that's a no-brainer. He's going to kill it there.
Yeah.
5 years later he's gone, or 4 years, whatever it was. But big culture. I mean, Tony and them came in, flipped the roster a little bit. I mean, a lot of the guys that succeeded for us, this year and the past few years were guys that, Dave recruited. But it's, development of players, the game's changed a little bit, so you get some men here a little younger. I mean, even last year we didn't have hardly anybody throwing over 90. Now we got 3 starters all close to 95 or harder. So, it's talent, it's recruiting, it's getting, you have a roster limit of 35. That's changed. COVID's helped out some and grown that, but you got to have more than that even in the 35 years and then cut it back. And I think Tony's done that. And then obviously he hired Frank Anderson and Josh Elander, and seen what Frank's done for the pitching staff. For one,
he's all right.
Yeah, he's done okay. But he does it for the whole team. He talks defense. He's kind of in charge of our defense too, and he talks to hitters. You can see his experience. Frank wasn't a pitcher when he played, is kind of the crazy thing. So he knows both sides of it. Last year we beat Arkansas. The best story was when everybody wanted Ferguson to bunt to move the runners over to tie the game, and Frank told him to hit it over the fence. That's what he did. It's kind of that Frank Anderson magic dust that you get every now and then. But, yeah, I'd say the main thing is the culture. Like, I think everybody that's been here, previous staffs and everything's good baseball people, but sometimes it's a timing and a fit, and, we've been able to capitalize on some of that.
Yeah, so that the culture is the big storyline all across college baseball right now, because some people love you all, some people hate you all. Tennessee fans are right behind you, though. What's the approach to culture is kind of what I'm curious about. Is this something that y'all ever have to kind of fire them up? Do y'all ever have to kind of dial them back? Or is it just because it seems to just be these guys' personalities? Is that truly what it is? Everything looks so comfortable. Is it just who these guys are?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, these last few have been the first 2 years of Tony, you kind of had to kick them sometimes and get them going, especially that first year when it's kind of in that change. But just the mindset of we're just as good as anybody else, you know. And if we're not as good as you, we're still gonna make you work for it at the end of the day, you know. And it's just like, and then when we play teams that, you know, maybe aren't in this league, it's like, hey, they want to beat us, so it's a competition every time you step out there, and just getting the guys to compete everything they do and kind of carry that over, and they do, you know. I think we had a little bit of a letdown Tuesday night, but I'd say after Mississippi and Vanderbilt, you kind of expect it, but you're still able to win when that happens, and that's a good thing. But now you got some players that have that same mindset as the coach and in Drew Gilbert, for the most part. But those guys kind of lead that charge, and everybody follows. You don't want to get left out, you know. And then it's a lot of it's competition. I mean, you've seen us roll out 14, 15 different hitters. I mean, Christian Moore's second on the team in home runs, and he has about half the at bats. Right. You got to, you know, fit him in there. And heck, if Jared Dickey doesn't go down, is he in there? Mm-hmm. You know, so it's a good problem to have. But
absolutely,
you know, it's just all about competition. Everything they do is a competition, and Tony's done a great job with that. It's been unbelievable to see. And like you said, you know, some people don't like us. Some people love us. I'm not a big trash talk guy. I wasn't when I played, but if you can do it and back it up, and I mean, they don't say anything. It's not. People say it's trash talk. I don't think it's trash talk. They don't say anything. They just, hey, you get a double, you celebrate. You know, you hit a home run. I mean, the game's changed. You know, and the Red Sox are pushing people down the dugout in a laundry cart. The Braves have blow up swords last year. Nobody said anything about that.
Right.
It's just part of the game where it's going. I mean, you can say the hat and the coat, but there's been chains, and you know, I mean, it started in football. No reason baseball has to take a back seat to everything. So I mean, a lot of us people don't like us, I think, because they haven't had to worry about us. Nobody likes to see, you know, kind of for 15 years the new dog in town coming, the new show. I mean, I'm sure, you know, as Tennessee fans, you watch these other teams, and when Tennessee was dominant in the 90s, and then somebody would, you know, light a fire on them because they're catching them, you didn't really like them. You know, I mean, Vanderbilt, obviously, it's been a rivalry for 100 years. It didn't just start this weekend.
Right.
But it's just the fact of now they feel like, hey, is this a threat in our own state as well? I mean, that's just part of it. When you, like people said, I think you all even tweeted out, what's Tennessee going to be like being hunted instead of being the hunter? And obviously it's rattled some cages, but I kind of let these guys, you know, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of showboating and all that, but if that's who you are and you're true to it and you can handle it when it doesn't go well, you just be yourself. That's all you can do.
Well, and that's another thing too is, well, I was arguing with that's sports. Like you gotta, you take it when you got it, and then you take it when you don't too. So if you hate it, then just start, you know, if you want to keep the daddy cap off, don't throw balls that can get hit out of the park. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're going to get some things like that. I mean, you know, if when we lose a series here and somebody wants to say something on Twitter, we got to wear it. I mean, that's part of winning and losing. And this is baseball. It's not football. It's a 56-game season. There's going to be a lull at some point, and it's how quick can you bounce back, you know? And I think a lot of that showed last year. We lost 2 games in a row twice. One was a doubleheader on Saturday at Indiana State, and the other one was in Omaha. So, I mean, I think our guys showed pretty good that it's a new day every day. And I think they've done that this year, too, with winning. You win Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday's a letdown because you've already wrapped up the series. But they've came out the same way every time.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you, you mentioned that, you know, teams kind of have to earn it against Tennessee. And, you know, you've seen that firsthand with the pitching staff. Is like 68% of their pitches this past weekend were strikes. So they're making everybody earn it. What kind of have you seen out of this starting pitching rotation with, you know, all 3 of those guys being underclassmen and, you know, kind of how they handle themselves?
Yeah, I mean, they've taken really good to Frank saying, and throw strikes, you're not going to pitch here. I mean, that's Frank's thing. Throw it over the plate, you know, make them beat you. Amazing. I mean, it's hard to tell in the fall and spring practice because your own hitters are facing them. And as you've seen, we've got some really good hitters. So they're getting beat up a little bit, but they're also doing really good. So you're kind of like, well, they're obviously talented. They have good stuff. There's no doubt. And then Drew Beam didn't know what he had. I mean, he hadn't really pitched in 2 years. Had COVID year and then Tommy John. So he was kind of, slow even in the build-up. And then when Blade was down, they're like, oh, let's go with Beam. And gosh, he's been better statistically than any of them.
Right.
And he may not have the arm, but he's a high school quarterback. He's a competitor. Still has a good arm. I mean, just because it's not 97. It'll get there at some point. I mean, he's still not that far removed from his Tommy John. But nothing short of amazing. I mean, 3 starters on the Golden Spikes midseason watch list. I don't know how you find the stat, but I'm sure that's never happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just throw it over the plate, make them beat you. And I think they've made our hitters better because our hitters go up there relaxed because they're like, hey, if we just score a couple, if we just put a couple here and there and expand this lead, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, in Nashville, hey, we need to get Blade some innings. Well, where at? I don't know. I mean, he just went 8 innings. He's going 9. I mean, it's a good problem to have because now they're all competing with one another, in a good way. And I think Drew's comments have been spot on where he said, if Blade takes my spot, I'll just go down there to the pen and do the same thing. You don't get that all the time. So that tells you where our team's at.
Yeah, I do kind of want to tell you a little story. I got to talk with Jason Beam, Drew's dad, and Caleb, you've already heard the story, but we got to talking about Drew and things like that, and I kind of asked him about how he likes Frank Anderson. He was like, oh, he loves Frank, but he's like during fall ball, like Frank just kind of watches him and from afar and just kind of, I guess, take mental notes and then, goes back later and coaches them. So he's like, Frank didn't really talk to Drew very much. And Drew called his dad one day and he's like, I got 3 words out of Frank today. And he's like, oh, what were they? He's like, your curveball sucks.
That's Frank for you, man. He tells you the truth. One, he tells you the truth, but 2, yeah, he observed a lot in the fall. And then he knew he was going to get to work with Drew after the fall, even though practice was over because of his injury exemption. Mm-hmm. When Drew was rehabbing, he could throw for Coach Anderson. But once you come back from Christmas or right before that when we're doing individuals, that's when Frank might start tweaking stuff. He's not going to do it. I mean, he's seen Drew being pitched before, but things change. Mm-hmm. You also want to see where they're at. Just let them pitch, and then let's correct it. I mean, Will Mabry's another guy who's been really good for us, especially against lefties. He's had good stuff, but towards the end of the fall, after observing, like you're talking about, Frank's like he needs a cutter or slider. He gets that cutter or slider, and now he's unbelievable against lefties. So, I mean, that's just Frank. I mean, he's not going to sit there and try to it becomes overcoaching if every outing you're sitting there trying to tell them something while they're doing it. Frank will talk to him. He won't talk to him during a fall outing, but after they throw 3 innings, hey, come here, and he'll tell him what he saw. But that's just him, and he's a man of few but many words, depending on the time or the situation. It's hard to say. So
your curveball sucks.
Unbelievable at his craft.
I get that feel. Every shot of him in the dugout, it's almost like he's buried as far back as he can sit.
Yeah, he's not a good. We won't be getting him on the more important issues. I don't think. I mean, he took that COVID thing and ran with it. Just wore 2 masks, put his hoodie over, and I just see his eyes. I didn't know last year during COVID. I didn't know he was growing a goatee until we had a Zoom one time and he didn't have a mask on, and that was in January, and he had it all fall.
That's awesome.
So is everybody growing out the mustaches? Is that a Mike Honcho thing?
I don't know. It seems to kind of be. I started growing mine back in January, and my wife liked it, so I've just kept it around. And then now I can't get rid of it for reasons that we don't need to talk about. But when you win, you win. So I kind of like to get rid of it, but that ain't happening at the moment. But yeah, then some people kind of did it for March, and I don't know. There's some bad ones. There's some good ones. I mean, Kirby's.
You can't shave them now, though.
No, there's no chance it's getting shaved right now. Beck says he's going to try, but he has no shot. It's like me trying to grow a beard. I can't grow a beard. I can grow a really good mustache. You got to know who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah, did y'all see Ross the other night?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I was gonna ask you what you thought about that
I gotta,
crazy
I
third
gotta
base
call him out
coach.
now that he's tweeting things here about basketball. But
Yeah,
no,
who let him back on Twitter?
I know. No, I was right there with him when I saw that video from the other night because I didn't think it was a bad pimp job, especially for a game-leading homer in the 8th inning. And
Yeah, the
then
guy got karma too. He kind of broke his arm.
yeah,
as
he
he came
dislocated
across
his
first.
shoulder rounding first base there. But then
Yeah.
the guy threw and just don't throw it ahead ever. I mean, don't hit a guy. But hey, if you give up a 2-run jack for the lead, you don't get to hit anybody.
Nope.
I don't care what level it's at. He could have done anything. You hit a home run in the 8th inning for the lead. I don't care what you do. That's always been my thought. Like you said, like y'all were talking about earlier. If you don't like the daddy hat, do something about it.
Yeah.
And that's just get them out, not throw at them. But if you don't want people to celebrate, don't let them hit it over the fence. I mean, the only way to stop it is in the NFL, they're going to dance if they get to the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal is to keep them out of the end zone.
Right. Yeah, especially like in Tennessee, like why would you ever want to, with the bats we have, why would you ever want to put a guy on base?
Yeah, no, that's another. When I played, I got hit all the time, not because of somebody hitting a home run or anything, but I didn't mind getting hit. I got to go to first base.
Yeah.
On base percentage is climbing, and we got a chance to score a run.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know where we rank at, but I think we're pretty disciplined at the plate, and we walk quite a bit. And that's where the high scores come from. You're not usually going to hit your way to 10, 12 runs, but you walk 7 or 8 people, then you hit a couple out of the yard. Now you're at 10 or 12 runs.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me that's just another guy on. But I mean, that same Houston State and the Houston thing, you hit that guy, the next guy hits a home run. Now you're down 4 runs going to the 9th inning. Right. You want to be down 2 or 4?
Yeah. Yeah, not very smart.
No. But it was good to see Ross is still fired up.
Did he kind of give you a little deja vu?
Oh yeah. When I saw the umpire holding him back, I was like, I don't know, man. Don't touch him. He might swing. I was trying to avoid him.
Did you say anything to him in Omaha when it happened, or did you just hold him back?
I was just standing in front of him. I wasn't touching him because I didn't know if he was blacked out. Didn't want to get hit. But I mean, he was out there for a good while before I went out there. I just went out there because I was like, hey, nobody else is going. Like, what if he actually goes after the guy?
Yeah.
Back in here. We're still tied right now.
That's good game management from you right there.
That's right. That's where the cameras were.
Yeah.
You got a little TV time.
You got that that Dabo Sweeney get back coach.
Exactly. Somebody
or Venables, not Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah, somebody's got to grab the belt loop, and he was too far.
Y'all are obviously talking about the Houston situation. I brought this up to Landon the other night. Even in baseball, you're talking about how it's changing. In no other sport does anyone try to hit the guy that celebrated on him.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen in football on an interception. Doesn't happen in basketball on a steal and dunk. I don't get the logic behind it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, the whole unwritten rules, and I understand. Like growing up, you're kind of like, okay, but to me, I mean, like you said, in any sport, whether showboating or whatever, you never try to injure somebody. For one, and I mean, when you're throwing a baseball 90 miles an hour, you could hurt them, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't benefit your team because now you put somebody on base, like we talked about. If a bench clearing brawl happens, now you've put everybody in some sort of danger or suspension. And you can say, well, it was the Major League said it was the 50th game of the year. Well, the 50th game might matter because you get suspended 5 games, you lose 3 out of those 5. You missed the playoffs by a game. Do those games matter? Yeah. So, I mean, it's just, like you said, in football, I mean, and they all have penalties and rules and stuff that helps a little bit. And ours does too. I mean, once it happens, they're going to warn you. Eject
You've seen the ump talk a couple Tennessee hitters down the line this year.
Yeah, the umps are trying to keep it because they don't want it to get to that point.
Right.
But, hey, it's not really a rule that you can't do it, but an umpire's like, hey, man, I know where this leads to. Just get a little pace to it. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I think sometimes the pace is a little slow out of the box. you earn it by hitting it over the fence. I was never able to do it. I didn't. You hit it, and I'm kind of like, oh, I hope that gets out. But these guys hit it a long ways. But I think it's fine. I mean, everybody does it now. It's not you can see all these Twitter people argue about it, and it's like, you're not out there, man. You don't know what they're doing. You can say, that school over there they do everything the right way. They hustle. No, I'm sure they have a guy that'll walk 2 or 3 steps and then take off. So it's like, just enjoy it, Like I said,
It's sports. Have fun. It's sports.
You gotta have fun. Baseball's a long season. 9 innings in 3 hours is a long time. That's what me and our sport admin were talking about today. Baseball movies seem to have that good balance of like comedy and seriousness. And it's kind of the true thing of baseball. You got to be able to laugh during a 9-inning game. It's 3 hours.
Right.
Don't have the commercial breaks all the time like football to go take a breather, or basketball. It's going to be 2 hours. You got to be able to keep it lighthearted at times.
Absolutely. I do have a baseball operation. I think it's a baseball operations question. You don't have to get specific. I think there's a lot of unclear. And I even looked at the NCAA rulebook. How does the checking the bats process work? And like, if a bat is pulled out of a game, do they check it again? Like, what is that whole ordeal? I'm just curious because there's not a lot of clarity.
No, there hadn't been for us either. So we've done it every year I've been here. So 7 years. I've never seen a bat pulled out of a game until last week, us, and the week before that, Auburn. So in 7 years, never seen a bat pulled out of a series mid-series. The umpires aren't involved with it at all. They're only things to enforce it like they did if it happened. And we were in the wrong. There wasn't a sticker on the bat, but it had a sticker from Wednesday night because it passed Wednesday. It had a sticker from Thursday because it passed Thursday. I test every bat we take. We have a bat bag, put them in there. The reason they fall off sometimes is because of pine tar. You put it right there on the handle. There's pine tar. They're in a bag together. But my first 4 years, I think, we had to test them, and you wrote it down, and you wrote pass or fail. And then you emailed those to the league office. The last 3 years, they took away the paperwork. So there's not a lot of – I think the umpires need to be more involved if you're going to say, hey, this is a big deal. So for softball, they check them after the game or before the game. They lean them up against the dugout. The umpires come out. All right, good. They have stickers on them. There's nothing unless you say, hey, I'd like you to check that bat. Until this week, because of Vanderbilt, or I shouldn't say that, but because of the team to the west, now we got a memo from the SEC that umpires can now check a bat at any time, basically like the pine tar rule for pitchers in Major League Baseball, so that when you're going to the plate, they can say, let me see the sticker. After you hit, they can pick up the bat, which is fine. At least they're involved. Yeah. But there's no, they don't check it after. So all the stuff about Jordan Beck's bat being, or Mike Concho, his bat being way under the number was just somebody making something up because we got the bat back Sunday. I mean, we'll test it again. I mean, I'll test a bat every week because if it fails, you still get it back. If it fails before the series, you take it out of play for the weekend, but you get it back. So it could pass next week. It could fail next week. It's a fine line at times, and then you can test it on one side and it fails, and one side it passes.
That's the end of it, right? There's nothing else with.
There's no repercussion. We're not waiting on the NCAA to reprimand anybody publicly. If it was tested after it was removed, then it was taken out of the umpire's locker room and tested by the opponent without any of us there.
Gotcha.
Which I would find unfair because now you get news articles like we've all read on Twitter about how bad it failed. Well, the only people confirming that is one side of the argument. And the guy's 6'3", 230 pounds. He doesn't need help.
I mean, he hit one Tuesday, 451 feet.
He hit one Tuesday, 451 feet with a different bat.
You forget Lindsey Nelson is a small park. So, that 451's
Williamsport.
We measured 451 different in Knoxville. It's not the same
it doesn't get
in
out in
Nashville.
most stadiums.
Yeah.
Well, then the best part was he hit those doubles after the fact. Basically won both games. But I told Jordan this at times. I was like, man, it ain't the bat. You're just a good hitter. Like last year in Hoover, he broke his bat during BP, and he had to use a different bat during the game. We're playing Mississippi State, and he hit an opposite field home run with a bat he hadn't used all year. And I'm like, it ain't the bat, man.
He's not good. Yeah, his bat's not projected first round.
No, it's not the bat. So that's the thing too. I mean, but they get comfortable with certain things, and I understand that. I mean, we're all creatures of habit, but like you said you couldn't find the clear process. There's not a clear process. It's been going on. The best testing we get is SEC tournament and postseason because it's a third party. Neither team's involved with it. Like in Omaha, I wasn't allowed in the room when they tested them.
Okay.
So, which you just feel better about it. Even if a couple of years fell, we had four fell in Houston. We hit fine there. So, not a loaded bat thing. It's a talent thing.
Yeah. My thing is like we can't get a better process than a sticker.
Yeah.
Like we got Vanderbilt on the mound with a watch saying what pitch to throw, and we're still having stickers on bats.
Yeah, I mean that's what we've talked about it all week. Like how do you get it better? And do you just test the bats? But if the home team, they have more back, in the locker room or whatever. The road team, you could say, hey, anything you bring out in this dugout has to be tested, but you can't really police that either. So I just say don't test them. I mean, it's good for the game when people hit home runs anyways.
And some coaches are, I'm sure your former teammate had it. Some coaches are going to send them off to get tested after anyways. So
yeah, I mean,
test them before.
And I don't even know what that does. I mean, when you test it after the fact, and because of the testing, the bats aren't as hot as they used to be, and they don't get as hot as they used to be. So it's not really as much of a safety thing or, saying this or that. The bats are pretty good. I mean, I've seen over the 7 years, less and less fail every year because companies know if people are going to keep using our bat, it needs to pass this test. So it doesn't happen. That's a compression test. We also do the ring test, which is you slide a ring basically just bigger than the barrel down the whole bat, and it has to pass all the way through, which that keeps it from being dented or flat on one side. That one makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, just interesting how that all kind of transpired.
Well, it was interesting because on Twitter all week everybody was saying how Tennessee's cheating with loaded bats, and then in the first inning of Friday. And there's no penalty to say, hey, check that bat. If it would have had a sticker, we'd have just moved on.
That was the reason why Vanderbilt had 11 hits in the series.
Yeah.
Because of our loaded bats.
That was the loaded arms. Those checked this week, I heard.
Speaking of loaded arms, you're pretty good back in the day at Memphis. Congrats on the jersey retirement.
Yeah.
That was really cool to see. I had to get, Knoxville to Memphis, back to Nashville, right?
Oh, yeah. We went down Thursday to Nashville, watched the game Friday night from the dugout. Saturday morning, hopped in a car, drove to Memphis, did the ceremony, hopped back in a car, went to Nashville, and watched another victory.
Oh, man. Who do we need to call to get you in a jet for those days?
I had an offer. I mean, I know Dick Hurst out here tweeting wanting Drew Gilbert celebration, I believe. But his uncle actually offered us the jet, and we had 6 people, and it only holds 5. So we went ahead and drove.
Dang, that's
you're a better man than me.
But it was cool. I mean, I got to see some teammates I hadn't seen in 10 or 11 years. Some of them came and didn't know they were coming. Hadn't probably talked to them in 10 years. Not that we just keep up on social media these days. You don't have to talk to everybody every day. You know exactly what they're doing. So, but no, it was fun. Had a good time, and man, you don't dream of something like that happening.
Did you throw a strike?
I did throw a strike. It might have been a little up in the zone. I throw from 35, 40 feet now for BP. I don't go to 60 feet. It's a long ways. I turned around after I got to the rubber and I was like, that is a long ways.
You threw it better than 50 Cent.
Yes. The catcher caught it.
That's all that matters, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So facing a guy like Ben Joyce, what would be your approach?
Pray. I mean, I've seen 100. I don't know. I haven't seen. I mean, his 104.5 is the highest I've seen from him in a game, which doesn't the highest ever. I think is 105.1. And I mean, what a great kid, man. He's earned and deserves all of it. That's the best part about it. But it's unbelievable. I mean, he's sitting there. It's 100, 100, 100, 100. I mean, you've had season tickets, been going to games. I've never seen that number on that board, especially that many times. I mean, the first time I ever saw it was the old scoreboard 2005 regional. Wichita State was playing and Mike Pelfrey was pitching. And they would only had 2 slots for numbers. And he throws a fastball and it says 0-0. And I was like, that must mean 100 because that's throwing flames. But
oh my goodness.
I mean, it's I mean, we knew he threw hard, but that's harder than hard.
So what do you do about an 82-mile-an-hour slider that he's throwing too?
And now that he's throwing it over the plate, I mean, that's what Frank's been working with him on. Because if he can just get it over the plate for a strike, it's hard to say you have much of a chance. Because you're gearing up, for the 100+, and then you throw something else for a strike. It's hard to know. I mean, you see these guys trying to hit 96 and 85.
Yeah.
From the other guys. I don't know. And it's not like there's a lot of effort in what he's doing. It's not like he muscles up and everything's flying at you. It's pretty smooth in it, which is kind of scary.
Yeah, if somebody were to hit one of our guys, we'll just bring in Ben Joyce to get him off the plate a little bit.
Exactly. We're just going to go straight to the guy that has the strongest arm in the country.
Right.
And let you think about that one.
Yeah, I don't know if you could pay me to step into that batter's box. It's not worth it.
No, I mean, you would rather him. I'm sure these people are glad he does have pretty good control, because a lot of hard throwers don't. But like you said, I mean, you've seen his innings start to tick up because it's the Frank Anderson, Tony Vitello. I mean, you got to throw it over the plate. It doesn't matter if you throw hard or slow. If you got to throw it over the plate to get people out. That's where it starts. So.
Well, speaking of Ben Joyce and some other, we asked Cody, your former teammate, now doing some ESPN color stuff for you guys. Have you ever seen a pitching staff just this loaded? And now you finally are adding Tidwell. Hopefully get Halverson back soon. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I don't. I've seen some good arms over here at times. I mean, obviously Luke Hochaver, James Atkins is a pretty good combo. But you kind of get to combo and now you're at trio. And then now Tidwell's healthy, and you got 37-year-old Redmond Walsh in the bullpen. I mean, he just gets people out. You got Kirby, he just gets people out. They know what they're trying to do. Man, I mean, from where we were last year with people that Hundley got people out, Dallas got people out, and you're like, oh, we're gonna miss those guys, and you still do, especially the personalities. But now it's like, look at these arms. It's kind of special because you didn't know what you had. You had 2 freshmen and a transfer. We knew they were talented, but the results have kind of gone even past the talent level.
Yeah. Who are some other guys that, have really taken a form this season that, maybe didn't have too much of an impact last year?
Everywhere on the infield except Luke, pretty much. I mean, Trey Lipscomb and Cortland Lawson, guys like that, you really root for because they've been here 2, 3, 4 years and just worked. Didn't, why am I not getting my chance? When they got their chance last year, they did well. But, hey, there's a, all SEC guy in front of me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not competing with him and hope to beat him out, but I'm going to be ready when my time comes. And I don't think you can get better than those 2 guys right there. I'm both very talented, but at the same time, you see them grow over the years. And I mean, Trey's strong as an ox now. That's what everybody's tweeting about his home run at Ole Miss. There's no way that goes out. You should see how strong that guy is. And the wind was blowing out. So that's part of it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, him and Cortland work so hard, and to see them succeed, and, a guy like obviously we knew what Evan Russell could do, but just, hey, I'm going to go catch this year. And, that's been key for us in a big way. And then other guys, like Seth Stevenson came in as an infielder, playing in left field. Just get me in the lineup. How do I get in the lineup? You put Blake Burke in. He's a freshman. Got to get some at-bats somewhere. And crushes it when he's in there. Jared Dickey, the guy lost 70 pounds.
Oh, he's unrecognizable.
From last fall.
2020. Yeah.
And Coach Elander said he's the best hitter in the state when he saw him in high school. And then when he got here, it's like, yeah, he can hit, but he can't really run. Where's he going to play? Now he's a good outfielder, backup catcher, and he can really hit still. And he's the happiest kid I've ever seen. He smiles every day when you pass the guy, and he kind of just – I asked him, I said, are you reading books or yoga? What's your mentality? Because, I said, I need some help, man. And he said, I've been reading. He said, I got a book for you. And he gave me a book. And I'm like, hey, man, I appreciate it. Because, he's that happy every day. And that's why it was cool the other day when his sister threw out the first pitch because heck, a kid like that, he hadn't seen her in 2 years. And his mom had been emailing me trying to work something out. And, just you root for – I root for the whole team. But you root for certain guys that you get a bond with that busted behind the scenes. It's easy to be friends with the superstar.
Right.
Or try to be nice to that guy and, the Jordan Becks and Drew Gilberts of the world. But you get a very good appreciation for the guys that spend some time. Hey, it's not comfortable. If you're here, you never sat on the bench before. But to sit on the bench, scenes, and then when your time comes to perform, that's the ones that you can, really get behind.
Yeah. That was an awesome moment when he got that hit in the ninth with all his family in the
that was great. I said, I'm just glad you got in there, man. Got a hit. I said, didn't look great running. He said, I didn't. I said, no, your foot. He said, I felt like it was worse Saturday. I said, I don't know, man. That looked pretty bad. But you got to knock, and they're coming this weekend again, and I think he'll be in there some more. So it's a good thing.
Caleb, you got any more? I got one last question, but I'll let Caleb go if he wants to ask one more. We do have some from your buddies. Do you want us to read some of these?
Hey, I'm trying to read them. There ain't no. I got a text from Booker that says he needs a new walk-up song.
There you go.
I got tweets.
Jarrell Ortega has the best walkout song out of everybody.
Jarrell's the man. It's not Jarrell though. He's not from Puerto Rico. It's Joey from Tampa.
Joey from Tampa. I like that.
That's what I do like that
one. We have been talking to Adam Massey, and I have been instructed to recruit you for some old man basketball on some Sundays when we get going. So not baseball related, but we got to get you there.
Tell him I'm in.
Ross Kivett did ask if he played good defense in Knoxville Church League hoops.
Kivett played great defense because he couldn't play offense. You got to bring something to the table. We're probably the only team in Dean Hill history that the game got called early because of too many technical fouls. And then the following year, he didn't have any actually. He told the other team they had a little crazy guy on the other team, and the guy was yelling at Nick Hurst, and he said, "Come on, man." He goes, Nick's dad's a youth pastor. And the guy said, well, I go to church too. What does that mean? So we had and then we lost to that same team the next year, and they hadn't won a game in 4 years. So we retired after that.
So that was Kivett's fault, right?
Yeah. He was a defensive. He wore 6 because of Baker Mayfield, and the guy didn't even play for his team anymore.
Oh, is that why he actually left Knoxville after the loss? He just couldn't bear it anymore.
Yeah, he had to go. Like,
what about
fresh start?
Would you get mad if a blind man beat you in checkers?
Of course I would. The guy can't see, and I lost in checkers.
So that's a real story.
I was about to say that sounds like a true story.
It was. We were at Cody's house in high school, and we were playing poker. I'm pretty sure it was poker. And Matt Roberts won the hand. I thought he did. And I was like, wait a minute. No, I got this. And they were like, yeah. Chad won. He goes, man, you're crazy. He goes, you'd be mad if you lost to a blind man in checkers. And I was like, of course I would. I mean, Cody never tweets. He's tweeted twice in the last week, and one was about that, and one was about they retired my jersey at Memphis because it was too small for anybody else because they had to shrink it. This guy never tweets. Now he's coming at me.
It's only Wordle. It's all Wordle.
Yeah.
All this is Cody Ross.
And now he's coming at me.
He might have a better batting average than you now with those two.
Yeah. Golly. He picks and chooses well. I don't know what Gilbert's celebration means. He says it means nothing. He says it's just something they came up with.
And pretty much everyone's doing it, right?
Yeah, everybody's doing it. Everybody except Luke. Luke just rubs his belly.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's an old man move. You gave Redmond the 37-year-old. Luke's got to be at least 35 then.
Yeah, they're right there together.
John Fulgerson. I did also like Evan Russell's twerk that he did against Florida last year.
Yeah, that's one of the best things. I thought he was hurt. I thought he was down. I thought he had a bad back. There was something else. Somebody take. Oh, did y'all see the Evan Russell Weigels deal?
Yeah, we did. We talked about that.
And I said, "What do you get free?" And he said, "Gas." And I was like, "Well, that's huge." He's like, "No, I'm just kidding." That's a huge deal.
I was going to say that might be the best NIL deal in college history.
Yeah. He said he's got some more commercials coming out that should be pretty good.
The stick. I'm glad they waited till after the Vanderbilt series to film that because the sticker was good.
Oh, that was awesome.
Hey, I don't know if it's just because you're on the show, but y'all did get another commitment during this interview. So.
Oh, that's awesome! Breaking the news.
Yeah,
breaking the news.
Hey, man. Yeah, breaking news. I'm in for it.
Love
that's
that.
Good. Things keep going well. Who do y'all got in the Masters? I got my cup.
Man, yeah, I'm wearing my jacket, and I was outside. It's not a warm jacket, but
yeah, you got to wrap it though. 1 week a year.
Have to. Man, so are you in that fantasy like on Masters.com? Did you do that?
No.
Stuff? I had to take Tiger in my tier 1. I just had to.
Yeah, man, it's just awesome. He's out there, and he goes 1 under. Hadn't played in over a year. No big deal. He's just that good.
There's a couple. Oh, he is. He's so good. He's different in Augusta too.
It just tells you though, like if he would have never had any injuries, he would have set numbers that nobody would ever touch. He's that dominant.
Oh gosh. And the crowds are all. That's my favorite part about it. Speaking of like how fun sports are and all, the crowds following him at practice rounds, and then today, what's his name? He holed out in Tiger's group, and I was like, that roar had to just be insane. And it wasn't even about Tiger, but there's that many people there.
They're good golf people. Yeah, I think Tiger. One of our managers texted me last night. He said, "I think I'm going to take Cam Smith," and then the guy's running away with it, and he doubled 18.
Yeah, he doubled 1 and 18, right?
And then you're still 4 under. You could just don't mess up. Just don't mess up that bad.
I picked Dustin Johnson. I don't watch a lot of golf, but I picked Dustin. I put money on Dustin.
That's a solid pick, though. I mean, the guy's as talented as anybody in the world.
Yeah.
I bet on Tiger when the plane landed for his practice rounds. I was like, that man's playing. He doesn't fly to Augusta for no reason.
No, he's not going to practice and say, I don't think I can do this. You have to carry him off of it if he's not finishing. Yeah, I wish Ricky Fowler would get it back together.
That's it. I was talking to Jonathan about that today. Man, poor Ricky. Which as soon as I started cheering for him was when he really tanked.
Exactly. He started like it. He was like top 5 in every major every year. And then he got married, and it just went.
Uh-oh.
Is that it? Spieth had a baby, and he struggled today.
I know, man. There's something about it. You lose time on the course.
That's right.
You don't practice.
Caleb, are you next?
I didn't know. Not with a baby. I didn't know what you were looking
Oh, no. I'm talking about getting married. So
I don't have
you're the only one that's not married, so your golf game is going to get even worse.
My golf game is bad enough. It can't get much worse.
It can't get much worse.
I haven't played golf in a month and a half. Rolling out there Sunday. We'll see how it goes, boys.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Chad, I just got one more question for you. Did you know you are the Stan Lee of Tennessee baseball? Every legendary photo we have, you are right in the middle of it. Joe, do you have those photos? I think Joe's still in here, maybe.
My wife.
Yeah, there we go.
My wife just texted me and said, "Wives make everything better." or make life. She's listening. Yeah, there's two.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yep, there you are in the back.
Yeah, that was
Every
when Logan
single one.
Johnson texted me and said I had the 3XL sweats on. It's cold out here.
Y'all playing. We're not going to get good weather tonight either. And I text Landon. We'll both be there Saturday night. And I said, first home run shirts are coming off. And he agreed. We didn't know it'd be 30 degrees.
Yeah,
Saturday
exactly.
night.
It's April. Well, I expect the shirts off then on that first home run. I'll be looking for you.
Look,
Caleb said it, if somebody hits one like
it's gotta
he
be-
did the other
it's got-
night,
it's got to be Mike Honcho. I won't do it
if
for
he
anybody
hits
but
one the
Mike
other
Honcho.
night, we're shaving his mustache in the stands.
Okay.
Shaving the beard, keeping the mustache, shaving the beard. in the
Oh,
stands.
shaving the beard, that's going to take
Well,
a while.
Will they let me in with a razor? Is that?
I don't know. I'll put
They
one in the
don't-
locker room. I'll bring it out.
Ah,
Yeah,
perfect.
they don't check.
Cash.
I'll hold it for you.
Yeah,
That's
put it in
awesome.
one of those bags. As long as you have a bag that's you can see through, they don't care.
Yeah, as long as it's clear, we're good.
Yeah, Dad brings an apple or something like all the time.
Well, it's in a clear bag. Can't say anything about it.
Right?
Oh, those pictures are great. It looks like I'm searching for the camera. That's what it looks like.
It's always on you.
Yeah.
What did you do on the? Because I know Vitello's got the great ran to the stands, tried to claw through the net.
Yeah.
What did you do on the Gilbert grand
When I
slam?
was sitting back in the video room, I watched most of the games from back there and just come out to do the lineup changes. Dugout's stressful. I'm past that. But I was actually, me and McCann were sitting there, and I was like, McCann, if we don't win this one, I don't think we win at noon tomorrow. Just because the game had been so intense the whole time. Losers got to turn around and play Duke. Just didn't feel right. And I was planning summer vacation. I was like, I think I'm going to go to the in-laws at the lake Saturday. If we do lose, get away for 2 or 3 days, being crushed,
Yes, so
And then he comes up, bases loaded, and I said, McCann, this would be a great time for Gilbert to hit his first home run since Nam, because he hadn't hit one since LSU, which was in March at that point. And I said, that'd be a good time. And the guy hung the curveball, and he hit it, so I just sprinted out of the video room. It's right behind the dugout, so I sprinted out. As soon as I get out of the dugout, there's liquid, I assume beer, maybe water, hitting me from the people standing on top of the dugout. They were celebrating. And I'm just kind of amazement at that point. I made it out of the dugout, made it from the video room to the dugout before Gilbert made it to first base, though, because he took his time on that one. But that one's well earned.
yeah.
Yeah.
You had to watch your head, not only for beer, but a bat,
Bats, helmet,
and a helmet.
I mean, I'm sitting there and I'm like, people still ask about it, this year. Like, we were in Oxford and this 12, 13-year-old kid asked me, he's like, what'd you do? What'd you think about that Drew Gilbert walk-off grand slam? That's pretty crazy. I'm like, they said it had been done in Major League history like a handful of times to hit a grand slam down by 3 in the bottom of the ninth. So it's rare to even have that opportunity. So it's
I love it. Pat was on the 11.7 podcast, and he was like, you dream about doing that as a kid? He's like, I didn't know what to do when it happened, because you never think about what do you do when you watch it.
yeah.
So that, you have no idea what to do.
Yeah, you dream about you doing it, but not, 5,000 people being there and you're part of it or watching it happen. I mean, like you said, you saw Tony as soon as he hit it, take off running. You see Luke in the background throw his hands up. I think that might have been the best part, is every time you see the video, you see the reactions of everybody and how special it was. And to see, I mean, like I said, if you lose that game, you may not get out of the regional. And then it was like a blur. It's like win-win, super regional, win-win. You're in Omaha. And it's like, I remember the walk-off home run. I don't remember the next 2 weeks until you land in Omaha. Yeah. It was that quick and that good. So, I mean, I was just glad the first LSU game was a little nerve-wracking. The second one, I was like, can we just blow them out? I just can't. I can't take this. I can't take a game 3. And just came out on fire.
Yeah.
You and Frank Anderson.
Anderson
can call your shots then.
Yeah.
Just bring that energy to it.
Exactly. I mean, man, it was fun. That's the main thing, you know. I mean, like I said, in my job and my role is to see I don't want to call them kids, but see the guys succeed. That's the main thing, you know, and watching more guys get drafted now and coming back to town, you know, Ferguson, Liam, they all worked out here in the winter. Pav, Crochet came back for a little bit. So it's cool to see those guys and have those relationships.
Absolutely. Well, man, it was really good seeing you again. We'll see you this weekend. You know, hopefully we don't have the worrying like we did against Wright State, but
Yeah.
hopefully we come out hair on fire and don't plan any summer plans until
No, I'm gonna wait this one out. I'll bring the Razor and the Charger for that Mike Honcho bomb.
Perfect. There you go. We're planning it.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right. Appreciate it. You too, man.
Thanks for having me.
Love it. Shout out to Chad for hopping on kind of last minute. Love friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. We got a lot. We got some friends with that baseball program has been good to us.
They have, and we appreciate them for many reasons, being good to us. And then talking about the Drew Gilbert moment, that's just one of those as a Tennessee fan. You know, it kind of. I'm going to try to frame this the right way. It kind of sucks because you want so many more of those moments. So it's like you don't want to dwell on that, but you're not going to get a moment like that ever again. Like that's how it is.
Well, it's crazy.
Down 3, bottom of the 9th.
Every time he comes up to bat, somebody wants a bomb. But dude, he's one of the best hitters in this league, and he has what, 3 home runs on the year?
Yeah.
I mean that he's a certified dude, and he's going to get paid after the end of this year for sure.
Yeah, and I mean it's. I mean Tennessee obviously doesn't dwell on it. The team, the fans don't dwell on it, but it's one of those moments I need to get that picture frame that he talked about, that one from the third base line looking back towards the dugout with Luke's hands raised. The ball's probably still in the frame, like in the top left corner, because the moment it was hit, everybody knew. It wasn't a guy running back to the warning track. I think the right fielder just turned around. I don't think he moved. Didn't take a step towards the wall. So it was just it's
imagine being
weird.
like I think one reaction you get to see is Liam Spence and he's on base. Imagine like seeing that and then like get your mind right that, hey, I have to touch these bases now.
Yeah. Well, and you know those I can't remember how many outs there were, but you know Gilbert's probably going to get a bat to the ball. You're probably thinking I've got to go because we got to get as many runs in if he can get this one in a gap. And so you're ready to take off. And then all of a sudden you get to walk yourself around those bases.
100%.
It's
Brent just got in here and said that was a truly awesome interview. Appreciate you listening.
No, thank you. Shout out to Chad again. Zurcher's a good guy.
Great dude.
Great guy. And then he's kind of had an interesting or like a cool perspective of the baseball program too, being here when Serrano. He mentioned it. And I don't, I think it's funny when you look at coaches, like you kind of give them the pass or fail. I think especially with guys like Serrano, who are obviously good coaches. They've been successful other places. He coached for Team USA. It just sometimes it's just not the right fit. Timing's not right, whatever it may be. And so I think Chad said that. And so I think it's sometimes it's hard to give coaches pass or fail grades. It is hard to judge. There was some talent on this roster. When Vitello got it, did have to add a lot of depth, have to change Tennessee's approach to recruiting a little bit. But that's also kind of on the state of the Tennessee baseball program in the terms of what the athletic department did too. And Vitello has been able to kind of go and get everyone bought in, fans, AD, everybody. And he's gotten a front seat to that and been a part of it. And so it's a cool perspective, hometown kid. And then we obviously talked about he's in the Memphis Hall of Fame as well, with the jersey retirement too. I don't have it up. I had it up at the house before I had to go to Starbucks. I think in 2011 he batted 403.
Yeah, I think he led the nation in batting average.
I mean, that's 403 is borderline video game numbers.
Yeah, that's insane. Insane. You were talking about Vitello just getting everybody to buy in. I think that's probably one of the biggest parts in all of this is like his attitude, his just the way he talks. Like even at a press conference, you're like, dude, I want to run through a wall for this dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think he kind of got the troops together, you got this fan base bought in a lot more than maybe any other coach would have. Because this program wasn't. It wasn't great when he took over. So the fact that he was, it's taken this long to get it to where it is now.
Right.
It's incredible the way he's kind of turned this thing around and done it gradually, like so quickly. You've gotten to this point, and it feels like a long time, but like you've gotten a lot better each and every season.
Yeah, and just to kind of compare it to teams and programs that Tennessee's seen, he's done it very organically. Nothing against Bruce Pearl.
Is there a lumberyard behind you?
No, that's Starbucks, brother. You're probably seeing. Oh yeah, they got a nice little wood thing. Probably their garbage.
Oh, okay.
But he's done it very organically, and I think Bruce Pearl was, genuinely who he was. But he kind of went, he went out before he was really winning and tried to get people to buy in. Vitello's just been like, I am who I am. We're going to win ball games. They've won, and people have jumped on, and he's invited people on the bandwagon. Yeah. So it's been very organic and fun. It's not been faked like Butch Jones, weird catchphrases. Like the Mike Honcho thing, he probably, when he said that, the thought never crossed his mind that shirts are going to be printed on Monday with that name on it. And so it's a guy that is truly, and that's why I wanted to ask, because maybe it's just my perspective. I know a lot of people, and even some Tennessee fans don't necessarily like the attitude of this team, but it's who they are. They, nobody looks sad to come out of the dugout and put the daddy hat on. Like, no one's like, here you go. Like, yeah, I don't know who's doing it this year. Kirby last year ran out there to throw it on somebody, whoever hit the home run. And so it all just kind of comes, you have Luke Lipsius, who, not that he's the quietest dude, but he's probably one of the last guys you think is going to grab the bat and check the sticker after a home run. And it's just, it's the emotion of the moment, and Tony lets that stuff ride, and it makes it fun. And you get to see the personalities of these guys. And I think that's one thing, we talk about how baseball is just really behind the times. MLB, you don't get to see the personalities of a lot of guys. You don't get to know them when they're playing the sport. You might hear them in interviews or, whatever they're doing, but you don't really get to see the personalities of them. You know the personalities of this team. And now we really do, because shout out to Chad. We learned a lot about these guys tonight. It was a lot of fun. Just kind of hearing the perspective of day in, day out what these dudes are doing.
It just got me more fired up for this weekend. I'm pumped.
Oh gosh, dude.
Not going tomorrow, but
I wasn't really going to
Saturday,
shave my
Sunday,
face.
I'm gonna be there.
I wasn't really going to shave my face, but now if he does, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, we're definitely doing it.
Oh, great. If I didn't do it, so I got to.
Yeah. Let's start kind of wrapping this thing up. Again, a big weekend on campus this weekend. Hopefully you're able to get there and be a part of it. The boys are going to be fired up. Tony Vitello's alma mater coming to town. Seth Halverson, you got a former player from Missouri last year. So, I'm sure there's a lot to play for. And Missouri is a kind of a weird baseball team. I think they played Arkansas pretty well. Got whooped up on by Vanderbilt, but won the series against South Carolina last week. There's nothing they do just is gonna jump off the page at you. But Vitello kind of talked about it. They got guys that can run. They got some guys that can. I think they've got 2 guys with 6 home runs apiece. They got a leadoff guy who's pretty good. So. Steal some bases, bunt and things like that. They're going to do a little bit of everything. And, the way Tennessee's pitching, I'm not worried.
No, and that's another thing. You're really going to have to take advantage of Tennessee's few mistakes that they make. And I don't know if Missouri has the firepower to do that. So even if those mistakes come, which they didn't come very often last weekend against a really top, really, really good opponent. We talked about that. Vanderbilt's good. Can't take away from that. And I don't, people want to trash them. I want to beat the best Vanderbilt team. I don't want to beat a crappy Vanderbilt team. So I'll give them the credit. Tennessee took it to them. And like you said, it's Vitello's alma mater. I think they're going to be, have that little fire under them for coach. And then, you talked about Tennessee. Are they going to enjoy being the hunted? They seem to kind of enjoy it at Vanderbilt, and I know that's kind of easy too when it's your your in-state opponent. They seemed to enjoy it. Maybe took a minute, but enjoyed it a little bit against Lipscomb too. Once they kind of got kicked into gear, and so you really find out this weekend. But they seem to enjoy it so far.
Yep. Any stupidities?
Yeah, I've got one. Let me see. Sorry if I go away on camera here. I've got to read his name, and it's a reply to a Wes Rucker tweet. It's not a Wes Rucker tweet. Shout out Wes. Did I screenshot it? So did you see the Hendon Hooker quote? How he said he wants to be in the facility 8 hours a day is his goal and keep other people around. Did you see that?
Yeah, full-time job.
Bob Mulkey at Go Mox. That's unfortunate because I'm a big, if you can see my camera, Power C guy. He said, "What about classes with 4 question marks?" And I just love that. It's just like the most old man thing ever. What about the kids? What about classes? First off, let's do the math. You've gone to college, Landon.
Mm-hmm.
You played football in college. So you go to class for, maybe 4 hours a day, maybe. You're at football for 2 hours already. I'm not good at math. That's 6 hours. That leaves 18 hours in the day.
Yeah.
I think you can throw in 6 more if you wanted to, first off. Second off, he's a graduate student. He's not going to class for 4 hours a day. He's probably all online, like Joe Burrow, who only stepped on campus to play football. I mean, and if you're a Tennessee fan, who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah, he's going to the league next
I don't know.
year. Why does he care?
It's the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, what about the classes?
What about
the Kansas players who haven't been to class in a month?
Yeah.
It's just what delusional world do some old maybe 50-year-old still white dudes like where they think these guys are actual students?
Yeah, there's plenty of time to go to class and like we're doing this show right now, it's virtual. You think they don't have like charging stations or anywhere where you can do classes in the facility? They eat, you could probably sleep in there. They get their hair cut. There's a ton of stuff you can do.
That's another great point.
Facility, so
now they literally can do their entire lives at the facility. So that's an even better point. That's another 2 hours they're probably in there not doing football related stuff.
Right. So
what about the
look
classes?
of that? The video that they showed about the locker room upgrades. Why the hell would you want to go back to your apartment?
Dude, that's why I'm like that. See, and which is probably good. Not that all 120 dudes on that roster are looking to get in trouble, but you got some guys that maybe need to stay away from certain people or certain places, and give them a facility they're proud of and want to be a part of, and maybe you keep the handful of guys that maybe would find trouble, keep them out of trouble. It's just good for your program.
Yeah, 100%.
And they've got study hall and stuff too. Like, it's all good, guys.
Yeah, I do want to mention this real quick, football-wise. Jalen Hyatt puts on 20 pounds. That's insane to me.
I'll give you full credit for that. Sorry, Jalen. You get partial.
Yeah, I told him. And he said he wants to get to 190. It's just going to help him a ton in this league where you have safeties that are – the kid from Notre Dame – Hamilton, is that his Kyle Hamilton? Is that right? That doesn't sound right.
You got me.
Anyway, he's like 6'4".
That sounds like a Cubs player. So
yeah, he's like 6'4", 225.
Be a Notre Dame wide receiver.
Yeah, that's insane. Like you have a Cedric Tillman basically playing safety. Like if somebody's 160, they're not blocking him. I don't care who you are. Him getting that weight up and be able to maintain that speed that he has is just going to make him so much better, because at 160, like, you're not breaking no tackles either.
Absolutely.
When your legs look like this pin right here, like, you're not breaking any tackles. Good for him. I'm super excited to see his development this season. He kind of mentioned in his press conference that he was complacent. So, and last season, because he had a really good freshman year and, didn't think he had to work as hard. But, when you have 4 true freshmen that are getting that praise, it's going to either make you hit the road or it's going to kick you in the butt and make you work even harder. So that's what it seems to be doing for Jalen
100%.
Hyatt. So super excited for him. Another guy that's getting a lot of praise. I mentioned the freshman wide receivers is Squirrel White. I think 4 out of the 5 people that spoke at the press conference mentioned Squirrel White. So,
boy, fast.
Yeah, I think Hendon Hooker said he had jetpacks on his feet. So
maybe we can hit the deep ball then.
Yeah,
hard to overthrow a guy with jetpacks.
Yeah, let Joe throw it 80 yards and see if Squirrel White can run underneath it. Oh, man.
Sorry to catch that stray, Tennessee quarterbacks. I apologize.
Yeah.
Shout out for everybody that stayed in here while I ran to Starbucks and did all the crap on my internet.
That's
I'm
awesome.
sorry. I agree.
Your video looks 10 times better than it did at your house.
It's good. I hope the wind wasn't too bad when I was outside.
I did like the
I had
people coming by the window.
Dude, I was like, this is weird.
Dude, if one of them would have knocked on your window, I would have had to shut this laptop down.
We would have brought him on the show, dude. I'd be like, what do you think about Tennessee baseball?
Would you let them shave your beard?
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. And no, it was a fun show though, getting Chad on, and I wanted to be a part of that, of course. And hey, listen, I'll go anywhere and everywhere for more important issues. Don't you forget that.
That's right.
Yeah, and then 2 people called me and wiped my sound out. Somehow that messed it up. Don't know.
Heck yeah.
But
Spectrum
is what it is.
Or T-Mobile.
Now I'm on T-Mobile.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting the come here, so yeah. And I'm not at home.
I don't have any stupidities other than Vanderbilt getting mad that a Tennessee fan sang the national anthem at their baseball game. So that's all I got.
Wait, that's real?
Yeah, so he said, shout out Vandy for having me out to sing the national anthem, but it's still Go Damn Balls. It's Graylin James. I guess he's an upcoming artist in Nashville. So, hey, props.
I know one Vanderbilt fan. I don't even think Jay Keller's a Vanderbilt fan. Nate Bargatze is. And he's not even proud of it. He just does it because he has always been.
Yeah. They're a different breed, but whatever. I mean, I don't know why he's why are you mad at him? Because he won.
It sounds like Vanderbilt fans hate the troops.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What it sounds like.
Yep. Guys, that's all we got. Thanks for listening. It is a little bit longer than usual, but great episode. And hopefully you see us this weekend. If you see us, come up to us. We'd love to I'll have Caleb sign an autograph. Could you imagine?
For so many reasons, you don't want my autograph. For so many reasons. One, like I would have to pay you, and I don't have that kind of money. And number 2, you couldn't read it. My handwriting's that bad. So there's a lot of reasons you would never want that autograph.
I'm going to constantly yell at Evan Russell and see if he can get me free gas at Weigel's this weekend. Guys, thanks again for listening. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.